Frida Catlo, born July 6, 1907 in Coyoacan, Mexico City, was known as one of Mexico's greatest artists and still is to this day. She lived in her blue home that is also known as La Casa Azul. At the age of 18, Frida Catlo was in a very terrible accident. This accident left her bedridden to recover for months. During this time, she found comfort in creating self-portraits, and this is where her journey began, even more so as an artist. Her beautiful and vibrant self-portraits often feature the animals that she owned in her lifetime. They were reflections of what was real to her, as many people described her work as unrealistic, so something that didn't look real. But to her it was, and that's what she meant for it to be. She loved to wear flowers in her hair, inspired by the beautiful gardens in her blue home. Frida Catlo married Diego Rivera, another very well-known artist, and they continue to live in La Casa Azul with their many pets. Frida Catlo had dogs, spider monkeys, and even a deer. To this day, Frida Catlo remains as a very well-known artist all around the world, and her artwork can be seen in museums anywhere in Washington, D.C., all the way back to her home in Mexico. Hi there, boys and girls. This week we're going to go ahead and read a book together. It is called Frida Catlo by Wild Bios, and it is an animalistic introduction to one of history's most greatest figures. So they like to go ahead and take very important historical figures and turn them into cute little animals. We're going to go ahead and read this. We've already learned all about Frida Kahlo, which is the real-life artist that we are studying. And we've learned facts about her life and where she's from. So now we're going to go ahead and read this fun book together. So here we have the cover. This is the spine of our book, and this is the back of our book. Usually on the back of a book here, we have facts or any information about the book, and then we have the title again and all of that. And then some more fun little artwork here on the back. So let's go ahead and read this together. As you hear me reading, you're gonna hear me say some words a little differently than how they sound in real life. And that's because this is a book about Frida Catlo. She is a what? A cat, right? So we're gonna go ahead and read this together. Here we have, Frida Catlo was a talented artist born in Mexico City in 1907. She and her family lived in a house called La Casa Azul, the blue house. Frida and her father, Guillermo, were very close. He taught her all about photography. She would even help him develop photographs. Here they are. When Frida was young, she got into a awful accident. She stayed home to heal and had a lot of time on her paws. So she spent it painting until her art was perfect. And here she is painting. Frida's first paintings were portraits. She needed models, so she painted her sisters and her school friends. Frida was inspired by her Mexican heritage. She dressed in traditional clothing and often wore flowers in her fur. As you can see here, flowers in her fur. While she was in school, Frida met Diego Rivera, a famous Mexican artist. She showed him her art, and they developed felines for each other. Here they are. Dago Rivera and Frida Catlo got married in 1928. Dago and Frida were painters for her entire 9 lives. In 1939, Frida was invited to France to show her portraits at a gallery. And here she is in France with Dago Rivera and another fellow artist. Paris's most famous museum, the Louvre, bought one of her paintings. It was the first work by a Mexican artist that they had ever purchased. Frida had a fervent love of animals and often included them in her portraits. She had a pet deer, 2 spider monkeys, a parrot, and an eagle. One of Frida's famous works features a spider monkey. It is called Self-Portrait with Monkey and hangs in the MoMA in New York City. And we know a self-portrait is a painting that an artist creates of themselves. Frida Catlo was often called a surrealist painter. However, Frida insisted that she only painted reality. Some of her most famous paintings include The Mew Fridas, A Few Small Catnips, and Dago and I. Frida Catlo is one of the most famous female painters of all time. Although she didn't get to sell many portraits during her life, many of her paintings are now worth millions. Her paintings can be seen in museums from Whiskerton, D.C. to Mexico. Fans of her artwork can visit La Casa Azul and see where she grew up. Her colorful style will not be forgotten. And that concludes our book. We read our book, and now it's time to create some wonderful artwork. We're going to be creating and drawing Frida Catlo herself, so we're going to go ahead and get started on working on that together. If you'd like to go ahead and take a quick little break right now, you can go ahead and do that. And then when you're ready, you can come back with your materials and you can get started so we can all draw Frida Catlo together. Boys and girls, so we're going to go ahead and get started with our drawing. We are going to be drawing, remember, Frida Catlo, and her name in real life is not Catlo, her last name, but it is Khalo, right? So I just wanted to make sure we understood that. All right, but we're going to be drawing Frida Catlo for today, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure I have a piece of paper, a pencil, and of course any art supply that I choose to use. So like always, I like to use crayons, colored pencils, or markers. You can choose to use whatever you'd like. I like to mix them all together, and I like to use them that way. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna show you step by step how to draw Frida Catlo herself. All right, boys and girls, let's go ahead and get started with our drawing. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with a nice letter U shape. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go ahead and start here and let's see. I'm going to go ahead and go all the way around. And I'm going to go up. All right, you're going to notice I went up a little more, and that's because I'm going to do something right now with that line. So go ahead and start off with a nice letter U shape. Now, next thing we're gonna go ahead and do is that we're gonna create her ears, which is why I made this line a little bit longer and it starts curving in, because I'm gonna make her ears. So what I'm gonna do is make a nice little line that goes kind of diagonally down my page. And I wanna stop Do it on the same thing on the other side. Start and stop. All right. And now I'm gonna go ahead and draw the flowers in Frida Catlo's hair. Frida Kahlo, the real life artist, and also our artist here in our book, they love to wear flowers in their hair. So we're gonna go ahead and do that together. So I'm gonna start off by drawing circles. I'm gonna draw 1 circle, 2 circles, and 3 circles. Okay, they're all different little sizes, right? They're not all the same size. So draw 3 circles. Okay, now I'm gonna make the petals for my flowers. And I'm gonna do that like so. I'm gonna make a curved line that goes like this all the way around my circle. And I'm gonna do this again over here. And it's okay if my flower petals don't look the same for every single flower. I'm trying to make different kinds of flowers. All right. If you have a different design that you want to come up with, it's a little different what I'm doing, you can do that. You can create your own flowers. Okay, there are my flowers. Now I'm gonna add some details. I'm gonna add leaves. To do that, I'm making a shape that looks a little bit like a letter V with a curve. Can you see it? All right, we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing here on the top. I'm gonna add some more leaves. And in the back over here, I'm gonna pretend there's a flower hiding. So I'm gonna make some more curved lines. Okay, now I'm gonna do this. It's a little detail inside of Frida Catlo's ears. And I'm gonna draw it. It's gonna look like a triangle. Just like so. Okay, and now I'm gonna go ahead and add something very important here to the middle of her face. It's her little mouth. So we're gonna add an oval here in the center. There we go. Next, we're gonna add 2 circles, 1 to each side. Those are her eyes. We're coming back to the mouth, and we're gonna add the nose, which is a little upside down triangle. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause my video and you can draw. And then you can press play again. Okay, let's continue. We're gonna go ahead and draw her little mouth, her little smile. There we go. Next, we're gonna draw her unibrow. That means 1 eyebrow. We're gonna draw it on top of her face like this. It's a slightly curved line, just like so. Okay. Then I'm gonna make a line. Watch how I do this. It's a diagonal line, and it connects to the mouth. And I'm gonna do it one more time. This is a little detail that you see right here on her face. Okay, now the next detail we're gonna make is we're gonna draw her little stripes that she has here on the side. So we're gonna make triangles. If you remember one of our last projects that we drew for Henry Russo, and how we created our tiger and he had triangle-like shapes on the side, we're gonna do the same thing here. Okay, and we're done with the face for now. Okay, there's a couple more details we're gonna go ahead and add. Now we're gonna add the body to the head of Frida Catlo. So I'm gonna draw 2 lines. They're going to be diagonal. Diagonal means that they go in an angle. So I'm gonna go ahead and create those lines. Like so. I'm gonna fix one of my lines. So I'm gonna do that very carefully. I'm gonna come back over here. Remember, as you're drawing, not to put too much pressure on your pencil because that means you can erase. I'm gonna go ahead and make my line. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna add one more diagonal and another. And what I'm doing is I'm creating her little dress. Okay, next I'm going to draw her little paws. Just like so. There we go. All right. Then I'm gonna draw her shirt. I'm gonna create a divide. There it is. And I'm going to create a little design here at the top, and it is using some curved lines. Next, I'm gonna add a paintbrush. If I had said that before, now we're actually going to draw the paintbrush itself. I'm gonna go ahead and use the line here. As you can see, I'm stop, curve, continue, and I'm gonna go up more. Okay, and I'm going to close it just like this. Okay, I'm gonna create a curved line here, and I'm gonna make the tip of my paintbrush. Looks a little bit like a teardrop. I'm gonna make a curved line inside, just like that. And now I'm gonna come back to Frida Catlo's paws because I'm gonna add some details. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and create those nice little triangle patterns on the edges of her paws to create that little pattern that she has. And then I'm gonna make two lines that'll help me make it look like these are her paws. Okay, my next step is to add the tail. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a nice letter S looking shape. And then I'm gonna go ahead and make a curved line. And then I'm gonna come back all the way down, following it again and closing it off. And now I'm gonna make some little stripes on her tail. There we go. And lastly, we're gonna add the buttons to Frida Catlo's shirt and some stripes on the bottom. All right, boys and girls, so we've done it. We've created our Frida Catlo drawing. So now we're gonna go ahead and do this next step. We're gonna outline all the lines we've created, and we're gonna do that very carefully. You can use any black marker that you have with you. I'm using a Sharpie. If you don't have a Sharpie, you do not need to use a Sharpie. You can use a pen. You could use a black Crayola marker, or you could even just use a colored pencil to create your outline. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do that together. You're gonna see me doing that a little quickly here, but you can take all the time that you need to go ahead and do the outline of your drawing. Frida Catlo drawing is now outlined. I went ahead and erased any lines that I didn't want after I finished with everything. And then of course I added one last drawing detail, and that was the whiskers on Frida Catlo's face. So now I'm gonna go ahead and color. Watch how I color this. It's gonna be rather fast, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you. Again, if you need to replay any part of the video, you may go ahead and do that, or you can always go ahead and pause it so you can see how I color everything. And I'll also be leaving a picture example at the end of the finished product. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to coloring Frida Catlo. Boys and girls, there is Frida Khalo, or Frida Catlo, all done. So that is what she looks like. And remember that try your absolute best with everything that you do, because I believe in everything that you create for my art class. Remember that you can add whatever kind of flowers you like here at the top. Just keep in mind that there's certain color patterns that we need to follow. So you're gonna notice I use brown and orange. And of course the color of the dress, that can depend on you. If you want to change it, you sure can, okay? I hope you enjoyed reading along with me Frida Catlo by Wild Bios, and I hope you enjoyed learning how to draw her as well. When you're all done, please make sure that you either upload it to Google Classroom. If you're here on campus, I can always go by and pick up your artwork so that I can review it, okay? Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time. Bye.